It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. I don't know what your first concert was, but mine was Heart. Oh, 1978, baby. And when the set ended, me and my two buddies, we were in eighth grade. We couldn't believe they didn't do Barracuda. So we left because we didn't know what an encore was. And we were in the concourse, almost at the egg, like reaching to hit the door to leave. And we heard this roar of the crowd, and then we're like, what? What the hell? We ran back in. And then we were happy. Well, that's how it goes.
Some lessons in life are hard served.
Man, I tell you what, I mean, we were so close. I mean, seconds later, we would have been literally on the outside listening in going, what the hell happened? Why'd they leave and come back? We had a lot to learn. All right, let's get to it. It is Tuesday, August the 20th. Here is your Top 5 at 6. The stadium weekend wrapped up last night. The Big Four, Metallica, Green Day, Metallica, Def Leppard, Journey, Steve Miller Band. At Target Field last night, if you saw the show, almost 35,000 people went in to see the gig last night. Gotta wonder, two things that I've heard about the show last night. A text from a buddy who said that both Pineda, the kid who sings from Journey, Arnel Pineda, excuse me, I shouldn't just call him Pineda, having some vocal difficulties, and then apparently so was Joe Elliott, and I'm gauging that because the text said, went into the show, both singers sucked. That's what I heard. I was like, wow, okay.
I was listening to some clips this morning on Twitter, and it's hard to say, people are recording these things with their phones, but yeah, I thought Steve Miller, oddly enough, maybe sounded like he had the better pipes last night, really? Which usually doesn't happen anymore. But
he's he's the underdog. He can always sneak it in under the radar. You're like, I saw Miller last night. He sounded pretty good.
Yeah, well, he's not a screamer. You think about those Journey songs and the range that Steve Perry laid down, or the Joe Elliott range on those Def Leppard tunes. Steve Miller can get he's just kind of sneaking in there and at almost a whisper, but well attended. It was loud. There were fireworks.
I don't know what else anyone needs.
That's about it.
And I'm just going to say one thing here real quick. It just occurred to me. I'm pretty sure on Steve Gorman Rocks, my syndicated show, I interviewed Neil Sean a few years ago, and I asked him about the fact that Don't Stop Believin', The Sopranos. I said, where were you when the final show of The Sopranos aired? Were you? I remember where I was. I was with my wife. We watched it. The song kicked in. It was a real moment that I'll never forget. Yeah. I said, you must have been where? And he said, no, I missed it. That's the night I was on YouTube and I found Arnel Pineda. And I was like, wait, the night The Sopranos finale aired that sent Don't Stop Believin' to the top of the worldwide downloadable charts, like the night that song was reborn, you missed it because that was the night you were in a YouTube rabbit hole? And he was like, yeah. And I thought, I don't believe it. I think you're conflating two stories. There's no way that happened, but I hope it's true. Yeah. If it is, it's really, really, really cool. As we're getting the day off and running, real quick shout out to the good people down in Jordan. Good morning, Jordan, Minnesota.
The world's largest candy store down there.
I was going to say there's a candy thing happening in Jordan.
Big candy thing. It's one of the last places probably on the planet you can still get, and I don't know, it's been a couple of years since I swung by, but candy cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I remember my kids are like, what's that? I'm like, that's candy cigarettes. I had those when I was a kid. Can we have some? I'm like, that's how I got started. Light up.
The Kings and the Lucky Lights, man. Come on. When I was a kid, candy cigarettes were the bomb.
I got it all. And let's not forget, they've got that big orchard down there. The apple pies, not bad.
Number 4 on your top 5 at 6, Lake Nokomis beaches closed due to a sewer leak. Ouch.
Poopy Nokomis?
My beautiful Lake Nokomis. I saw this last night, and I was like, damn it, Zepp is right. They're all just crappy.
Could not wait to see you this morning. I saw it last night on the news as well. Now, last time I mentioned Poopy Nokomis, you said, no, I think it's blue-green algae or whatever that. Just a bacteria. It's not. But now it's literally Poopy Nokomis.
They showed there's still some people who are ignoring the signs, too, and splashing a boat.
Isn't that like the third verse of that Beach Boy song? Poopy Nokomis. Ooh, I wanna honus. Yeah, something. And it goes into the whole thing about Honus Wagner.
Don't swallow the water.
The two beaches affect the main beach and the 50th Street beach, known as the Little Beach. A sewer leak is involved in this. That's all you need to know. If you hear extraordinary bacteria levels and sewer leak, just stay away for a few days. Oh. We will let you know when Nokomis. Well, you know what? Ryder will let you know. She'll post photos.
I will.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. Phil Donahue died yesterday at 88 years old. The Phil Donahue Show went national in 1969. It was redubbed Donahue in 74, eventually on 200 stations across the country. Phil Donahue basically invented Oprah, Sally Jesse, Jerry Springer, everybody that came after. Yeah. Phil was the first. And by all accounts, just a good dude and not afraid to mix it up. And, I learned a lot about, things I wouldn't have known otherwise when I was a little kid, because he would have, on 1 week of shows, he'd have the Grand Wizard of the KKK, and then he would have a cross-dresser. Why do you wear a dress? And then the next day he'd have a public school teacher who, literally invented a new type of apple. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
He was incredible, Phil Donahue. Whoever was booking that show deserves all the Emmys they won.
I read this morning that he inspired a ZZ Top song.
Is that true?
Yeah, back in the 70s, Billy Gibson was watching the Phil Donahue Show. He loved the disguised sound of a guest voice so much. When they would do that thing to disguise their voices, that he had one of his guys in the studio call the show, find out how it was done. Ended up using a little bit of it on Manic Mechanic. What album was that? I don't even know.
I know. I see the cover. It's white.
Yeah.
Man.
I know that song. Yeah. I love ZZ Top.
So as a mechanic, you were purposely unscrewing. I can see it. Number 2 on your top 5 at 6, the DNC Open in Chicago last night. Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, gave a speech. And you know what? We were on a break when Governor Walz was announced as the VP pick for the Democrats. Mm-hmm. He will give a speech tomorrow night. A lot of people looking at Minnesota this week for certain. I have gotten more text messages from people in the last 2 weeks about people from Minnesota, and I'm like, I just got here. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had 0 texts.
Okay, because people they already know you're here. I mean, I got them all like, hey, I heard of that guy from Minnesota. I'm like, I just ignore it. I just keep moving. I don't know. Are we talking about the Twins? What's going on here?
Poopy Nokomis.
Number 1, Poopy Nokomis. Ooh, it's gonna never leave my head now.
For God's sakes.
Nothing like a really, really unfortunate Kokomo reference to ruin the rest of my day. Finally, your number 1 top 5 at 6. Happy birthday, Percy! The Viking god himself, Robert Plant, celebrates a birthday today. He is 76 years old. Robert Plant, also known by my daughter as a little girl when we used to bump into him regularly as that Zeppelin dude. Yeah, he's the Zeppelin dude. That's right. Happy birthday, Bob Plant. Speaking of poopy Nokomis, there are other places we've all found, let's just call it crap, that we weren't expecting, and we need to discuss. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That's a band from England called Led Zeppelin. L-E-D, if you haven't heard of them. Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant, the singer, today is his 76th birthday. Robert Plant wanted to be a chartered accountant, as they call it in England. Well, actually, his dad wanted him to be one. Yeah. He took 2 weeks of accounting classes and then went, I'm going to go back to singing, actually.
Yeah. Good call. Now, listen, you've gotten to know him a bit over the years, and Jimmy Page quite a bit, and you've had plenty of run-ins with Robert Plant and time spent. How do you think he might celebrate his birthday today? Seriously. Just kind of quietly, or?
Yeah, a couple bottles of wine and just listen to some records and go for a drive. I guess, who knows? So just normal stuff. Nothing. Trust me, I know what he's not doing. He's not having a giant party with a bunch of celebrity friends.
No.
That's not happening.
No.
Not a chance. No, that is a dude who is just like, I am trying to get away at all times from any of the entanglements of what people think I'm supposed to be doing as a rock star.
Good for him.
Very good for him. My wife and I, when Connell was about 6 months old, we took a vacation that we booked well in advance, and it was kind of like, all right, we had the baby. We had been on tour with Paige that year, and we went down to an island in the Caribbean, and it was the biggest, by far, vacation we ever took. We booked it. I mean, we never reserved things 6 months out. It was like really, and we had a baby, so we chose a nice resort that has a doctor on call just to be safe.
There you go. Right.
And And I'm at we get down there, we check into the place, and Nevis Island, it was called, in the Caribbean. Very nice. And we're there, and we had a couple, our dear friends had joined us, and we had a great place for a week. And our friends, our friend Marissa goes, there's a guy at the pool bar that looks just like Robert Plant. And I was like, there's not too many guys that look like him. And the next day I'm at the bar and there he is. And I walked up, I'm like, hey, he's like, hello, what are you doing here? I said, whoa, what, you're here? And he goes, no, I just come here for the margaritas. I've got a little house I rented on the other side of the island. I'm like, oh, cool. He goes, yeah, I don't like these resorts, they make me feel, but it's good food, good salad, good, and he's with his girlfriend at the time.
We're gonna kill her salad.
And we have a lovely chat. And then I'm holding a 6-month-old baby boy, and he just fusses over. It was great, so sweet, as always. And then we go on about our business. I see him a couple days later, and he goes, oh, well, if you're over at if you're out and you go by here, I'm staying I got a house down this little lane. And then the next day we happened to be driving that way. We had a little Jeep, and we get out and we're driving around the island. His house he was renting, I kid you not, it was a shack.
Oh.
It was you could have knocked it over with a ball peen hammer. It was just like, and he's just some guy he met who had a place. He doesn't give two flapjacks about comfort or anything nice. He was just, it was literally like, you're staying in that red house? And he goes, yeah, it's great. It's right there on the water. I'm like, it was just someone's shed. And he was happy as a clam. And I'm just looking at him, and it's Robert Plant. He's done pretty well for himself, but he's literally that guy. He's like,
I thought he had like GoldenEye on the other side, the equivalent of it, some mansion up on a cliff or something you were going to drive up to. Well, we had him on the air. I forget when it was, so I always just say 10, 15 years ago, probably a little bit longer than that, just talking about it. And of course, some egghead on the show that might or might not have been me may have mentioned a get-together with the rest of the guys that's surviving members of Led Zeppelin at the time. He said, no, I just hate it. I don't even want to talk about it. All I want to do is play tennis and fornicate. That's all I want to do these days. Play tennis and fornicate.
Keeping it simple. Well, then here's to you. By now, it might be pickleball. We don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions. But by God, Robert, I hope you get what you want today on your birthday. Happy birthday. One of the all-time greats right there. It is time to look back. It is August the 20th. On this day in 1938, two of the catchers for the Cleveland Indians caught baseballs thrown to them from the top of Cleveland's Terminal Tower, 708 feet from the ground. They both caught them, which, both guys, the previous record for highest ball caught was 30 years earlier from the Washington Monument. This topped that by almost 200 feet.
My God.
The one of the two guys, Frank Pitlack, said, I didn't know where the ball was going to hit me. I kept losing it. I saw it, and then I kept losing it, and it came back. That's a scary thing.
I don't think it's going to fall straight. All you need is the slightest breeze. Just the air current alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now all I'm thinking about is Pee Wee's 6th grade baseball, second base, dropped 2 pop flies in a row.
Oof.
They just.
If you told me that the tallest building in downtown Minneapolis, if someone's going to throw a baseball off of it and someone's going to try to catch it, I'd go there and watch that right now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. On this day in 1973, in Akron, Ohio, Jim Gronin, 14 years old, Boulder, Colorado kid, had his championship in the All-American Soapbox Derby stripped because it had been found out he was cheating.
Weights?
The Soapbox Derby. Yeah, he had an illegal electromagnet in the front of his car so that the metal baffle plate at the start line would pull the car forward, giving him an advantage.
I'm disgusted and impressed all at the same time. You guys ever do the Soapbox Derby?
Oh, hell yeah.
All my friends would show up and they would have these metallic-looking cars that with aerodynamic and all of these things. Mine was the block they gave you with wheels on it.
Yeah,
unpainted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, big difference between what we were getting into and what my brother's kids are getting. My brother was a big, he's still every year, the town he lives in, but his kids had those cars where I was like, what engineer from Ford did you call to build this? What the hell? Fascinating. On this day in 2000, Tiger Woods decided, I'll just show everyone how amazing I am. He won his 3rd consecutive major, the PGA Championship. Yeah, that's right. 3 straight, on his way to 4 in a row. He didn't win them all in the same calendar year, but he did have what he called the Tiger Slam. At the time, he held the scoring record at all 4 majors. Masters 18 under, U.S. Open 15 under, British Open 19 under, and the PGA 18 under. He was 24 years old. He had 5 career majors faster than anyone. And by the way, there's never going to be another Tiger Woods, and if there is, I won't care.
No.
Because I was watching this in real time, and the longer we get away from it, the more unbelievable he gets.
I wasn't there for the Nicklaus years, when the Golden Bear was just... And if you look at him statistically, I think Nicklaus has an edge on him in maybe major wins or something like that. But in our era, I remember thinking about that time, no one else is going to ever win another major.
Yeah, no one. It seemed like he had literally solved golf.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning. It is Tuesday, August the 20th. That was a band from the Bay Area called Journey. They played last night at Target Field. If you saw the show, did you see Steve Miller, Journey, and Def Leppard? We'd like to know how the gig was. None of us made it over to Target Field last night. Hit us with a text, 651-989-ROCK. That's the KQ Talk and text line. Please let us know what you thought of the show with all of the various lawsuits and behind-the-scenes drama with Journey. You got to think, like, how many more times are they going to, giddy up the horse and go hit it? And, I mean, it's not just Neil and Jonathan. You remember Ross Valerie, the long-term bassist, and Steve Smith, the drummer, were sued those guys a couple years ago for an attempted coup d'etat of the corporation. They settled out of court. There's a new rhythm section, not surprisingly, now on stage. It's just a lot of back and forth, and with every member of that band. So if you saw Journey, I'd like to know how it was, because there's a good chance that, in one of these days, they're just going to have to say, our lawyers have advised us never to be in the same room together again.
Neil doesn't go over to the keyboard anymore and bang out a solo staring into Jonathan's eyes?
No, I don't think so. And in fact, I did see a review that said they didn't even they don't go anywhere near each other on stage. They don't acknowledge each other. They're just playing completely separate concerts while playing the same gig.
It's like the wedding, with the divorced mom and dad getting together. They're over there, dad's over. Yeah, you can't. Trying to bring them back for the big show. It doesn't always work out. But, belt out the tunes, play the hits, make the people happy, and, load up that, pay off that Journey American Express.
That's it. Billy Bob Thornton, an actor of note, a musician of note, is playing September 27th at Medina. And at 7:50 today, we're going to give away some tickets. It's a good show. I've seen Billy Bob Thornton's and the Boxmasters. It's a good gig.
I've not seen him. I've heard some of his tunes and raised my eyebrows and went, oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. He, like a lot of people in entertainment, he was a drummer and musician first, and then was like, I think I'm going to start writing and maybe acting.
So that's what his thing is now, because he's not, so what's he been on screen? I haven't seen him. Is he just doing some indie stuff that
he's just been chilling? I think he's just sitting back and appreciating the good days, the good old days, playing music and doing whatever the hell he wants and not worrying about answering the phone, which is a pretty good thing. Hey, it is August the 20th. Good morning. Let's talk about River Falls, Wisconsin real quick.
Oh, some good fishing over there. What's that over there? Bacon Days in River Falls. Don't they have the Bacon Days every year? Am I remembering that right? I used to go over there for Bacon Days. Guess what you would find at Bacon Days? I'm
going to go out on a limb and say bacon.
So much of it.
Wow.
Candied bacon, just bacon on a stick, bacon candy. It was just awesome.
Yeah, that does sound awesome.
I said that twice, but a lot of bacon.
Well, thanks for being with us there, River Falls. I'm a fan of bacon. I don't mind saying that, and I'm sure River Falls is as wonderful a place as any to enjoy some bacon. It's Tuesday, and I like to call it and have for years the runt of the week. What really is the point of Tuesday?
Yeah.
Well, around here, it's time to share with you because it's Tuesday some fun facts.
Oh, I was just trying to get my facts straight. Unfun.
Unfun.
Not fun.
Not fun, not fun.
It's entirely unfun.
The KQ Morning Show presents
Unfun.
Facts. Let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
All right. Already I've been corrected this morning. By the way, it's the Bacon Bash over in River Falls.
Nice.
The Bacon Bash.
The Bacon Bash. September, late September, last weekend of September. Okay. That's a fun fact, though.
Here's an unfun fact.
Yeah.
We all remember the TV show, the impactful, iconic $6 Million Man.
Oh, what am I? That might have been my first favorite TV show as a kid that I remember. Of course, there was the Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island, but your prime time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Steve Austin, a man barely alive.
Yeah.
We can rebuild him.
Oh, why do I keep saying
have the technology. We can do this. Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. One day on the set of that TV show, there was a mannequin in the background, a prop, a mannequin. During the shoot, the mannequin's arm just fell off. Mm-hmm. They realized, wait, this is not a mannequin, it's a corpse.
What was it doing there?
And not only that, they figured out who it was. It was a guy named, at one point, Elmer McCurdy.
Sure
he had been an Old West, quote, outlaw. His preserved body had been in a traveling carnival funhouse for decades. And years later ended up on the set of the $6 Million Man, assumed to be a mannequin. It was a real human corpse.
Holy crap.
But no, Steve Austin picked up the mannequin and he threw it 3 miles. It was amazing. That's just how strong that right bionic arm was. The American Academy of Pediatrics in 1987, not 1887, but 1987, declared it was forever, from that moment forward, unethical to operate on newborns without anesthesia.
Holy nightmare.
What I'm telling you is, up until 1987, the medical community thought it was too dangerous to give infants anesthesia, and also weren't sold on the idea that they actually could feel pain yet. 1987.
Well, they cried over every little thing. See, this is when we used to toughen kids up. No wonder kids aren't tough. I don't know.
Just going with a scalpel to toughen them up? Come on.
Cut them up. That's the way dear old Doc did it.
Yeah. The Japanese giant hornet is a real thing. I know it sounds like an after-school TV special or something. No, there are hornets that still, on occasion, strike and kill people. A hornet. In fact, as recently as 2013, there was an outbreak in China. 42 people and almost 1,700 people. 42 people killed, 1,700 people hospitalized in a series of attacks. The Asian giant hornet, the largest hornet species in the world, they say the toxin is such that if you're allergic to it, it will shut down your organs, kidneys and livers, real fast. Come on, man. There's a hornet sting, and then there's the hornet sting that kills you.
Yeah, no kidding. That's like Jägermeister.
Yeah, pretty much. In the 1800s, dentures were all the rage for people who could afford them. Dentures in the 1800s were made out of the real teeth of dead people.
Well, I hope they rinsed them off, first, but nothing like the original, right? You can't make it better than nature can make it.
In 2005, a man named Jules Lowe was acquitted of murder. He killed his father. Of that, there was no dispute. The man killed his father with his bare hands. Why was he acquitted? He was sleepwalking when it happened. Wow. It's called homicidal somnambulism, sleepwalking murder. And he got off because it was true. He was in his sleep and he killed his father.
Oh, man.
Something tells me they didn't get along that great when he was awake. That's just me.
Do you have to be diagnosed with this? Can you just,
Not really sure. Here's another unfun fact for you. Koala bears, those lovable little eucalyptus-eating, sloth-moving, barely doing anything animals. Koala pee, their urine, straight up contains chlamydia.
Really?
Oh. Yeah.
Where was that excuse when I needed it?
I was going to say, I don't remember anybody saying to me in the late 80s, hey, were you drinking koala pee?
Sorry, honey. I was down at the pet store. They have a koala bear on the hunting trip.
Oh, man. What a bummer to be a koala. You're never going to get away from it.
I know. Well, I mean, it's, it's better than, never mind. I was going to say it's better than the herp.
Here's a few unfun facts from the continent, our friends in Europe. First of all, Paris, France. We just had the Olympics in Paris, and we got a lot of scenery. And you know they love to show the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
They show the Arc de Triomphe, and they show this. They don't often show, especially on things like the Olympics, the catacombs, the tunnel system underneath Paris. The catacombs of Paris hold the bones of nearly 6 million people.
Wow.
They were putting dead people in the catacombs for centuries.
So why is the Seine polluted? I know I'm jumping topics here.
I don't know.
Jeez.
And then in the Czech Republic, there is a small Roman Catholic chapel called the Sedlic Ossuary. What makes that church different? The decorations from the church, all made from human bones.
Yeah.
The skeletons of up to 70,000 people, a part of this one specific church in the Czech Republic. What are we trying to do here, guys?
I just don't think, the bones of people died so randomly in mass, the bubonic plague in the middle centuries. I just don't think it was as creepy back then to just see human bones around. In fact, not a lot of people know this, but the Amish used to make their furniture out of human bones. Originally, before they...
Are you serious?
No, I'm not.
No, I didn't think so. Sorry. I didn't think that was true.
I'd like to apologize to our Amish listeners this morning.
As I was raised in the Roman Catholic Church. Not a lot of bones. I was there at a good time. It was like sandals and acoustic guitars. In the 70s, Jesus was just a folk singer. As far as I knew, he was a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
He was happening. Moths are little friends that fly around and like to eat our sweaters.
Buggers.
Moths will vibrate their genitals as a way to prevent a bat from locating them.
That's a fun trick.
Yeah.
She threw me off with that whole vibrating her genitals. By the time I got to her side of the bar, I had no idea where she was.
What do you mean you didn't see him? He was standing right across the room from you. He must have been shaking his balls. I don't know. I couldn't find him. It was the weirdest thing. So Bayer, B-A-Y-E-R, the aspirin company, Bayer, briefly at one time as a medicine for colds, bronchitis, and pneumonia, specifically marketed to children, well, they were selling straight heroin.
Well, no wonder they couldn't feel pain when you operated on them.
I mean, but there was a brief period of time when they were like, this is incredible. Yeah. These kids feel great all of a sudden.
And they were putting cocaine in the Coca-Cola.
Man, I mean, and then at some point they realized, they just want more. Huh.
But they were all sleeping through the night, probably.
They were sleeping through the night, waking up and looking at you going, listen, man. hey, put that white lab coat back on and get over here. Stat. Every day that we live, we consume 1 to 2 cups of snot.
Oh.
Not just Chauncey. All of us.
Your own?
More mucus travels into the trachea than leaks out of the nose. So most of it ends up in the back of your throat. It's just happening all the time.
Ever since it became public policy around here, you can't spit loogies at work. Someone got offended or hit. Yeah, you just swallowing snot all morning long.
Finally, here's your final unfun fact of the day. Many times, this is an absolute fact. It's been proven. Human men, can and do get erections after they have died.
Oh.
That's how horny we are.
Now I have an erection? Great.
Yeah, I could have used this earlier. Jeez.
Well,
depending on the position of your body and at the time of your death, your blood will pool in a particular area, and because the blood still contains whatever oxygen and nutrients are left, it will then feed one last time the nearby cells, dying as they may be. And if that blood happens to be in that area, look out. Happens more often than you might think.
Am I the only one that's thinks it's a rather romantic notion that she might hop on for one more ride?
Final goodbye.
I kind of want to.
World according to Garp, right? Wasn't Garp conceived? Wasn't his
dead erection?
His mom, Glenn Close. Didn't Glenn Close sit on a dying man's erection to then conceive?
That was the movie where he was getting the mouth party in the car accident.
Same movie. Yeah,
so that's all I remember about that movie.
And don't forget the airplane as he's looking at a house to buy. A small plane flies into the house, and he goes, "We'll take it." What are the chances that'll ever happen again?
I might have to read that book.
Great book. But I got into a huge I love the writer so much I can't think of his name. Rolled According to Garp, Prayer for Owen Meany, Hotel New Hampshire, John Irving.
John
Good
Irving.
Lord.
There you go.
Oh, they're all fantastic. And then he put out a book in like the late 90s, and everyone's like, it's back. It's like his best book in years. And I read like 11 pages, and I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. I tapped out. But hey, man, that early stuff's great.
He had a run.
Oh, yeah. He had a huge run. The thing I love about John Irving is I read an interview with him, and he said he went to a writer's workshop as a young man, and he met Kurt Vonnegut, his hero.
Yeah.
And he showed Vonnegut one short story he'd written, and Vonnegut just looked at him and said, capitalism is going to be good to your writing. He's like, what? He's like, you're going to sell a whole lot of books.
Yeah.
Keep going. It's a pretty good thing to hear.
That is.
So there's your unfun facts for the day on this Tuesday. That leads me to think about, you ever just find crap? And I don't mean like you mess around. I mean literally. You ever find crap where you're not supposed to find crap? That makes for a crappy day. Let's discuss. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Monday, August the 20th. It's Tuesday. What am I talking about? August the 20th. Good morning. Last night, Journey and Steve Miller and Def Leppard played at Target Field, and we were talking about the show a little earlier. However, none of us were there, and I was curious if anybody that saw the show wanted to weigh in. We've got a bunch of text messages. Just really quickly, here's a few. First one I see, it was a blast. Best concert I've been to. Okay, great. And then the next text from Rich says, Steve Miller, okay. Journey, Pineda, as in Arnel Pineda, the singer, was horrible. May have been under the influence.
Ooh. That guy just runs back and forth. It's like watching Richard Simmons up there doing a workout video.
Yeah.
Sweating to the oldies. He just races back and forth across chill, grab a mic.
Def Leppard, awesome to finish off that particular review. Another review, Neil Sean carried the show. Neil Sean carried Journey. Here's one. Journey was amazing. The lead singer was a screamer. Didn't notice any tension. Steve Miller Band was great. They started off right. Didn't realize he was a Nepo baby. Not sure what that means. Who? Steve Miller?
Is a Nepo?
Steve started off with a great story about his stepdad being Les Paul. Okay, well,
yeah.
Def Leppard was meh. Last set, halfway through an acoustic song, the crowd literally died. Ooh, yeah. So, it just goes to show, no matter what you think of the show, people around you will think differently or the same and everything in between.
Yeah.
Finally, this one, Jay writes, my wife went last night to the concert, enjoyed every minute of it. Def Leppard and Journey, best two bands in the world. She got home at 2:30. She was in the parking ramp for at least an hour afterwards. Totally worth it, though. All right, well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
That's the only thing getting out of downtown. I do like Target Field. I didn't know right away when they built that stadium if I'd like outdoor shows there. But it turns out I love me an outdoor show at Target Stadium. But, it's downtown.
Yeah.
Like any downtown, hell, Hopkins, Raspberry Festival, try and get out of there on a Saturday night.
You find weird things when you least expect them sometimes, including, let's just get to it, crap. Listen, I was in a recording studio once, and I walked into a room, and there was a red Solo cup, the kind you're supposed to have a hooch in at a college party.
Yeah.
And it was a red Solo cup on the floor, and what was in there but a piece of crap. And I was like, who left this here?
That might be the only thing that the Army and musicians have in common. Because, I was in there, too. Guys just crapping, and they thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was.
Don't leave. We called it the cover, not a hat. It was your cover, uncover, cover.
Yeah.
And, don't leave your cover laying around unattended. Someone's going to take a crap in it.
I'm thinking about it today because this very day, this very morning here at the studios of KQRS, Brian, do you want to share with our listeners what happened and how are you recovering from what you discovered?
I'm traumatized. I've already been on the horn with HR this morning and a lawyer. Really, Ryder's story to tell. I'm just in here minding my own business, listening to a story about a whale tail knocking a guy out. We'll get to a little bit later on.
Yep.
And Ryder rolls in and goes, Zepp, did you poop on the floor out there?
It's a legit question. You've been asked that before.
It sometimes falls out of my pant leg because I'm going with a relaxed fit adult diaper now. Just something a little more comfortable because I can sit down.
Nice.
Something I can
dropped some
untape.
F-bombs, too. Like,
You did.
I was really unhappy to find this first thing in the morning. But
Clearly dog poop. It was dog poop. And right away, I jumped to the defense of my man, Chauncey. I'm like, that's not Chauncey's dog. Chauncey would not. We would notice if Chauncey was popping a squat.
Right. And just to be clear, not even if Chauncey was popping a squat. It was like right smack dab in the middle of the floor. It was not like hidden in a corner somewhere where maybe somebody snuck off. And I guess why all of the grown-ass adults that were in the building before me missed this completely. But it was just smack dab in the middle of the floor. So,
It's a big building. There might be a rogue dog running around this building with Chauncey.
You sure it's a dog?
Go find.
Listen,
I think, dude. Honestly, I took a good long look.
Raccoon.
We walked in. Chauncey and I showed up this morning, and this information was presented to us. and I said right away, I said, not a chance. Trust me, when my man drops one, no one is unaware. Okay, he's on a great roll lately. Very healthy. Yeah. Very vibrant, and boy, is there an odorous. There's no way anybody wouldn't be like, hold on, someone just dropped a deuce. That is exactly what would happen. So it's somebody else. And for the record, oddly enough, he walked right by the area. It had been cleaned up, so nice job there. He didn't even show any interest. He was like, whatever this was, it's got nothing to do with me. I don't care. I was like, well, I hope he doesn't go out there and think he needs to pee on it, like to mark it. He didn't even notice.
I don't know. No one likes to find a mystery poop at work.
No.
Why is that not a surprise in this building?
It surprises me now that I've been in this building for 24 years. This summer, actually. It surprises me. It's the first time poop has been found that I'm aware of in this building. Yeah.
Tour buses. The back in the day, there's a bathroom on the tour bus, but it's just for pee. The first thing is that's what they make truck stops for. And I can tell you of walking on the bus. It's a long drive. It's like we're going across Montana, so everyone's just bunkering in for an 18-hour journey, and at some point getting out of my bunk and I walk, I'm just like, there's no one awake, there's no sign of life, every bunk is a closed curtain, and just open the door to the bathroom and there's just a deuce in there, and I'm like, who among us did this? And then they flushed it, but there was a skid mark. You could see somebody had I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And no one ever copped to it. No. Ever. It was like, seriously, who did this? No, not one person. And it was just like,
we're not playing this gig until we find out. Show's about an hour late. Is that why Guns N' Roses was always late on stage for so many shows that I went out to? They're just trying to figure out
who pooped.
Who pooped on the bus.
Well, you know who it was. You want to hit those notes, you better be constipated.
You know it.
Axl Rose was in there's a lot of abdominal cramping going on in the vocal booth.
Explain a lot of his behavior as well.
No question about it. That was the one. A few times, though, when the kids were little, they'd come out and they'd get on the bus. And the bus driver, it was so funny. No matter who it was, you walk on a bus with like a 6 and a 4-year-old, and the bus driver would always go, "Hey, if they need to poop, it's fine. It's fine. Little kid, that's fine." Like, hey, thanks, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, a little Lincoln log in there is not gonna. I wonder if anyone's ever found the mystery poop. It doesn't have to be human. Just an unexplained poop somewhere where it clearly should not have been. I'd love to hear about it this morning. I'm in that kind of mood.
I'd love to hear about it.
I would love to hear about it.
What day are you not in that kind of mood, though?
Well, listen, I'm not like a scat fanatic or some weirdo like that. I'm just this one. I'm thinking this is too isolated. I want to feel like I'm not alone here. Yeah. And I don't think that I am. 651-989-ROCK, the talk and text line, if you found a mystery poop somewhere or left one.
Ooh. And we'll keep it anonymous, too, if you have. That's fine. Yeah,
well, I tell you what, if somebody left behind a mystery poop, I'll take that phone call. I would be fascinated Two things. One, why would you do it? And two, why would you ever admit it? So feel free to hit us up.
Out back behind a building next to the dumpster. I mean, I had to really go one time. I did that outside, but I didn't clean it up and throw it in the dumpster. It just wasn't that kind of poo that could be easily grabbed. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But
tell me more.
Here, I took a picture. I'll text that to you right now. I'm going to airdrop that to the studio. But it happens. I'm just saying, man. We live in a world where, when it strikes, when it's time to happen, ask the dog that crapped in the middle of our frickin', I don't know, what do you call that area out there? The dining room?
I'm more fascinated by Ryder's theory that it could have been a raccoon. Or was that Tony?
Tony said
it was me. I was speculating, and perhaps it wasn't a canine.
One of these big vents around here. I'm looking up now. Yeah,
mystery critter.
Yeah.
Left it in the middle of the night. Is that why it was still here in the morning?
Yeah.
Snuck in.
Speaking of leaving things behind, did you guys see this story? There's a model, and this is in England. There's an OnlyFans model, a woman who's got, I guess, a fairly successful. Her name is Chloe Lopez, and she has been posting videos of herself. She goes into public settings like a supermarket. She doesn't leave behind a deuce. She takes off her panties and leaves them behind on the floor as she calls a donation.
Hello.
This is her thing. She just walks into a grocery store and in the middle of an aisle, squats down, removes her panties, and just leaves them on the floor.
Freaking brilliant.
Why, brilliant, you say?
I say brilliant because this is OnlyFans, and you need an edge. There's a million weirdos on there doing weird things. We've talked about the lady farting in the jar, and she sells them to guys.
That's right. That's
right.
So
what do? How do you stand out on OnlyFans and make a couple of bucks? You just leave mystery panties around the area. What 18-year-old dude or gal that's, whatever, that isn't going to want to, they're going to want to find these panties. I'm telling you, she's probably making big bank with the mystery panty drop.
A lot of people not happy. The comments, why aren't you in jail yet? Someone should arrest her, close down her account.
Really?
What's
she doing?
She's just leaving behind panties.
Okay.
And not like wide out in the open for everybody to see. Like, you're going to have to be in the know to track these down.
You got to be on OnlyFans. Yeah, she just left them laying around. I mean, that's a pervert that would do something like that. This is a game. It's a scavenger hunt for her panties and her OnlyFans. I'll tell you what, I might start, if she was local, I'd be following along.
Well,
I would want a pair of trophy panties in my place. Yeah, that's her panties, man.
Mm-hmm. The problem here, I didn't realize this. Some of the recent videos, she's from England, but she's doing this in Spain, and she's leaving these panties like in a basket of bread. So like you might be, it's not just on the floor. Really? I realized, or she's going and she's leaving some in there's vending machines. Yeah. You know when you push the thing open to reach in and grab your Cheez-Its?
Yeah.
Or is that just me every morning? She's putting them in there, so people are discovering them when they least expect. So I see what's happening.
Wonderful,
here.
Awesome, I love it.
Well,
I mean, that's not the worst thing that ended up on your produce. Trust me. It starts with some worker that's wiping themselves out in the field picking your cucumbers.
Yeah,
it starts right there.
651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. We've got a lot of callers all of a sudden. Tony, you pick them, baby. Who's up first?
It is a poop parade. Let's begin with Cheryl's tale on line 3.
Oh, well,
Cheryl.
Hang on. Because I went to Brian.
Okay. We're going with Cheryl. Is that the case? Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning to you.
What do you got for us, sister?
I'm a union laborer, so we are usually in remote locations, and satellite comes out and cleans our toilet. And during the course of the cleaning of the toilet, the guy leaves, and we go in there, and whoever was there first crapped right on top of the toilet seat instead of in the clean toilet.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yep, they took a dump right on there, but that's not that. I've been in Lametti's and I've been in sewers 14 feet, and I've never seen bigger shit. But
God.
Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
Well,
that's okay, honey.
I think it's a clinical term, given the topic.
In my field, you come across a lot of that because the guys are in remote, and they do listen to your station, and they know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
They will do things. You'll find them in boxes, and you will not be... you're surprised when you find the bot. Put it that way.
Step carefully out there.
Man, no kidding.
Wow.
Well, those satellites aren't always readily available, and we started around 6 o'clock. Fellas don't usually start until 7, so I guess.
Well, this is all fascinating information. Thank you, Cheryl. And,
Thank you.
Hey,
Have a great day.
Good morning to all the boys out there at Crap Fitters 518.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, someone's in the squat position right now listening on the app,
Yeah.
dropping one in a box out there.
Wow.
With pride.
All right, I believe, do we still have Brian on the horn?
Hello.
Hey,
Brian, good morning, sir.
Morning. How's everybody doing?
We're great, brother. What do you got for us?
Well, I told Ryder that 93X had already talked about the crap.
Oh, really?
Early before you guys did. And then I just called Tony and did you celebrate 20 years? The Dave Matthews Band dropped Human Waste onto a architect tour boat on the Chicago River.
I don't know that we
2004.
celebrated it.
Yeah, we had a cake.
It was, yeah.
Blow out some candles,
Well,
20, I believe.
double
Not
fudge.
as the KQ Morning Show. We all had our typical individual celebrations. It's more like at home at the end of the day.
Well,
we
we just
light a candle.
celebrated at an event.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what we should do to celebrate? Let's go dump some poop on that other radio station you mentioned.
Well,
Wouldn't that be fun?
they said that was your latest rating, so
Oh, you're fun.
I'm starting
Thanks,
a radio
Brian.
war right here.
There we go.
Great.
Fair enough. Thank you for the
funny.
call, Brian. We celebrate Dave Matthews Crap Day by listening to Dave Matthews. It's just one man's opinion.
Yeah, it is.
Have we got another call?
Sean is on too.
Sean, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Got a story about a UPS driver in Arizona. They have these plastic bags in the back. They call them smalls bags. They put the smaller packages in them so they don't get lost. Anyway, he had really bad diarrhea, so he took a dump in one of those bags because he couldn't make it to a gas station, I guess.
Right.
And he's driving down the road. He's in a rural area out in the woods, and he opens the door and flings it out into the woods. Well, there happened to be a car following and thought a package fell out of the truck. Went over there and opened it up, I guess, and then proceeded to call in to tell on him, and he got reprimanded for it.
I imagine he did. Yeah, you gotta have a better arm if you're gonna try to throw that stuff into the woods. You gotta clear a certain amount of distance, I would think.
Well, it's hard with the diarrhea, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Hey, thank you for the call, sir.
All right.
I threw a bag of dog poop once. It was obviously dog poop. It wasn't mine. I think I told the story. It was a bad moment in the life of Steve Gorman. Watching a woman, I watched a black lab just take a built a Lincoln log cabin right in the front yard. And we have a little tiny postage stamp front yard, but it's the kids' playground. It's where they are every day after school. This is years ago. And I watched this woman, and she's pushing a stroller with a baby, and she's got a dog on a leash, and the dog walks right in her yard and drops it. And then she just goes, "Let's go." And they just keep moving down the sidewalk. And I happen to be looking out the window, cup of coffee in hand.
Outraged.
And I opened the front door and walked out, and she was still, not at the end of our little yard. And I go, "Oh, hey, you must be out of bags." That's my way of saying lady. And she just looked at me, and I said, "Do you need a bag to pick up that dog crap?" And she turned and started to walk away very quickly, just ignoring it. And I'm like, and I go, "Thanks. I hope my kids, I'm sure my kids will appreciate that when we're playing football later today."
Yeah.
And she keeps walking. So I bagged her dog's poo and tied off the bag the way you do. And I thought, I'm just going to throw it. I'm going to underhand lob it, and it'll land in front of her on the sidewalk to make the point, which is you can't even say sorry.
Yeah.
I was just so annoyed. And I flung it, and it was a little heavier than I expected. I did not do this well. I didn't really take the time to, if this had been a cornball, what do you call it, cornhole game,
Yeah.
I would have overshot the ball. But it came out of my hand, and there wasn't much of a lob. It was more like an softball fast pitch.
Yeah.
That bag of dog crap hit her straight right between her shoulder blades.
That is justice delivered.
And it did not, thankfully, open and spill all over her. It stayed shut. But it hit her, and it was it made like a thump. It hit her hard.
Made a dent.
And I was because I saw it coming. It's like slow motion, like, no, the poo's gonna hit that woman with a baby in the stroller. And it went thump right in between her shoulder blades. And she froze, and she spun back around. And I thought, well, I can't say sorry now.
Yeah, no.
And I said, you forgot something. And she looked at me with absolute horror and turned and got the hell out of there. And I couldn't really blame her at that point.
Yeah, because
it was just a lot of mistakes made all in a series. It was just a succession of mistakes.
You were on the high road there, brother, and then you were just that crazy dude that was throwing dog poop at people.
Yeah, no, I was on the high road and just drove right into the ditch. Just bam. One more call. Who we got?
Oh boy, we got the banks are lit up.
Oh boy,
you bait the callers with poop and they come a running.
Well, who we got?
Let's go with line 3, Uncle Eddie.
Eddie, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What's the story, brother?
How we doing? Well, we were pouring a stoop in Moorhead, Minnesota, and it was a Friday afternoon, and we poured it, and we're going to go grab a 6-pack of beer and then come back and then pull the forms and finish it, right?
Right on.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so then this dick that I worked with,
well, yeah.
That was his name.
Put some dog shit in my bags, and then they went in the trunk for the weekend, and then Monday morning I found them.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday or something, he took off for lunch, and we were out in the middle of nowhere pouring another foundation or something, I don't know. Well, at any rate, I took a handful of 16-penny nails out of his nail bag and dropped a deuce in there, and then put the nails back in there.
You rascals.
Yeah.
And then he came back and strapped the belt on, and he was walking around and pulling nails out of there, and
oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still talking about the 07 crap battles up there on the set. Yeah, on the site. Yep.
There's a lot of shenanigans on the work site, but when it turns into a poop battle, then feelings can get hurt.
I could tell you tons on the construction site.
I'm sure you could. Eddie, we got to bounce, brother. We appreciate the call. You can find Steve Gorman. You can find Steve Gorman in the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts, anytime you want. Sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Billy Bob Thornton. Oh, we've got to talk about Billy Bob Thornton. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Led Zeppelin fans know that this means it is Robert Plant's birthday, his 76th birthday. Happy birthday, Robert.
Yeah.
Uncle Bob out celebrating somewhere, I'm sure, under the radar. No confetti, no big celeb hang. He's probably out he's probably walking up a mountain in Wales or something.
Wouldn't it be so cool to be so iconic and just sort of blow it all off? Like, yeah, I don't care. I'm so iconic. Yeah, that's iconic.
He rolls. That's how he rolls, man. Happy birthday, Robert Plant. Billy Bob Thornton and the Boxmasters will be playing September 27th at the Medina Entertainment Center. We would love to give away a couple of tickets, but we need a couple of callers to play a game. Callers 9 and 2 right now at 651-989-ROCK. We'll have a chance to play a game and win those tickets. 651-989-ROCK. We need callers 9 and 2. Billy Bob Thornton, of course, an actor of note, a writer, director of note. He's done it all. Sling Blade, he wrote that screenplay, wrote a short film, made a short film of Sling Blade, and then some people saw it and said, hey, let's develop this into a full feature. And then he was like an overnight success after 15 years of trying.
Angelina Jolie, Vials of Blood. The whole thing.
It was not a bad time. I played on one of Billy Bob's albums in 2002. I was in Los Angeles, and I ran into a buddy who was working with him, and he goes, hey, man, I'm working at Billy Bob's. Do you want to come play on some tracks? I said, sure. Go over there. Great session for a few nights in a row. And I remember it was during the 2002 World Series. So every night we go to Billy's house. He bought a house from Slash in Beverly Hills that had a studio in the basement.
Sure.
And so but it's it's West Coast, so afternoon World Series baseball and then record. So it was great. So for a few days over the course of a week, go watch a World Series game. Game ends. It's still early evening. Go to the studio, track a few songs, have a good time. It was really cool.
Yeah, wow.
And on the last night we were there, at about midnight, as we're wrapping up and saying goodbye, the door opens and Warren Zevon walks in. And this is in 2002, and Warren had announced that he was terminally ill. He was making what he knew would be his final album, and he shows up, and an hour later, we're cutting Bob Dylan's "Knocking on Heaven's Door," and it ended up on Warren's album. And I had no idea that was going to happen. It was a spur-of-the-moment thing. One of the absolute coolest experiences of my life.
Yeah, there aren't enough O's in cool for that. I love it.
And
awesome.
among the people on hand that night, John Waite, the singer.
Yeah.
Formerly of the Babies, and then John Waite of John Waite. And then what was his supergroup? Damn Yankees or Bad English?
He was
in one of them.
Yeah. Or was it Bad English?
He was in one of them.
Yeah.
He was singing backup
Bad
vocals. He was singing backup vocals. Are you ready for this to all come back around? Here comes the button. And then a few years later, at that time, John Waite was dating Alison Krauss, and she was working with birthday boy Robert Plant. There you have it. There's your circuitous route.
You connected
back
the
to
dots.
the starting point, trying to get out of that one alive somehow.
Bad English, along with Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean. John Waite was the lead singer. I'm looking at it right now.
Bad
Damn Yankees was Nugent.
Wait,
Yeah,
Bad
that was
English
Nugent
was
and the Styx
Sean
guys.
and Kane?
There's Jonathan Cain. There's Neil Sean. There's two other guys I don't recognize, and John Waite in the middle.
Wow, man!
And then and then Damn Yankees. Yeah, you had Tommy Shaw. I think Styx in there along with Nuge.
Fun fact: Tommy Shaw also on the Warren Zevon Billy Bob session.
Oh,
wow! We're
right,
just covering all the bases here. Hey, quick shout out our friends up in Anoka. Good morning. We were in Anoka not that long ago. Was 3 months ago? 2 months ago, we had a great time on a Saturday, the downtown district, enjoying walking around the city streets, having a beverage or 2 or 5. That was a nice time.
The Anoka Social District, Jackson, always a good time.
What an awesome little town that was. I really enjoyed myself up in Anoka. So good morning. Have we got a couple callers lined up, Tony?
We do. They're ready to play. They're game.
Well then, my God, what are they going to play?
They're game for this game. Billy Bob Thornton brings his musical skills and his eccentricities, and you could win tickets to see those things by playing Billy Bob Thornton Gordon Jordan. We're going to give you fun facts and odd trivia via multiple choice, and you tell us which is the correct answer pertaining to Billy Bob, a Gordon, or a Jordan. Fun and exciting, both at the same time.
That is exciting. I'm looking forward to this. All right, who is contestant number 1?
First up is our buddy Scott from Elk River.
Scott, good morning.
Was Scott on 4, Tony?
Nay, Scott was on 1.
Who's on 4? It's like an Abbott and Costello routine.
Yeah, right.
Third base.
Our buddy Shark from Brooklyn Park.
Hey, Shark, you're going to be up first.
Shark, good morning.
Hey, how the hell are you guys?
We're doing great, brother. How the hell are you?
Just keeping this green Fender guitar. I've got stuck up with the 92 KQ stickers ready to rock for whenever Gorman wants to join me on stage or vice versa.
All right.
I love day drinking.
Yeah. Shark, are you ready to play a game to try to win some Billy Bob Thornton tickets?
Hell yeah! Give me the synopsis again. I've got 3 options. What are they again?
We're going to ask you questions, and you just pick from the multiple choice which is the correct answer. But they are pertaining to Billy Bob, a Gordon, or a Jordan.
Okay.
That's all a man needs to know.
Good luck to you, Shark.
All righty.
Wow, that is a sinister cackle.
Well, I am known to play villainous characters in the cinema, but hey, before I digress.
All right, Shark Boy. Billy Bob Thornton starred in and wrote an Oscar-winning script for a movie that featured the line, "I like them French fried potatoes, Was the movie titled A, Ice Capators, Raiders of the Lost Rink, B, Sling Blade, or C, Blades of Glory?
That would be Sling Blade, my friend.
Yes, my friend. Correct.
Oh. Give me another. Come on.
I'm going to give you 4. Number 2, although Michael Jordan is a man of legendary superstar status, he proves he is human, as since his youth, he has had a dramatic fear of A, robots, B, elephants, or C, water?
I would have to say water.
You are correct.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a phobia of
Warmer.
water.
Wow.
We're getting warmer, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Number 3, Shark Man. The winningest road course driver in NASCAR, Jeff Gordon, hosted an episode of this TV show in 2003. Was it A, Saturday Night Live, B, American Ninja Warrior, or C, The Mole?
Oh, shoot. Give them to me again, the option, the multiple choice.
A, Saturday Night Live, B, American Ninja Warrior, C, The Mole.
I'm going to have to go Saturday Night Live.
Right on.
Shark going for it. Man, there's chum in the water for Shark this morning.
Here's your last one, Shark.
He's going for speed. He's all alone in a time of need. Give me some tickets. Give me question number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Wow.
The Shark is a character. All right, your last one, number 4. Billy Bob Thornton's marriage to Angelina Jolie was unique, as around their necks they both wore matching
blood.
Well, specifically, I'll run through the choices and then you can pop in because you're correct. Okay. A, promotional bandanas they stole from their favorite place to eat, Popeyes. B, necklaces filled with vials of each other's blood, or C, copies of the cursed Tiki Idol necklace from the Hawaiian Vacation episode of the Brady Bunch. But you guessed correctly already.
You know what they did with those vials? You just pitch it? Or...
Sure you do.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Right on. Looks like I scored.
Yeah, that's pretty solid work right there, Shark. Well done, sir. 4 for 4. We're going to put you on hold. When I was in the session, when I was doing that session with Billy Bob Thornton, it was during the time he was shooting Monsters Ball. Then one of the other guys came over one day and said, "Hey, man, how's it going?" He goes, "How's it going?" "Well, I spent all day yesterday pretending to make love to Halle Berry, and then I came home and I made love to Angelina Jolie, so it's going pretty good."
Yeah, boy. Son of a...
It was only funny because it was true. Right. And everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, it's good to be you right now."
There was rumors Monsters Ball that was actually happening when they were getting it on.
Well, I didn't ask. I didn't think I wanted to know. All right, who's contestant number 2?
Ryder, who's
We're talking
popping
to
up?
Steve from White Bear Lake.
Steve from White Bear Lake. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're great, brother. Go Bears. Are you ready to play this game and try to win some Billy Bob Thornton tickets?
Well, we'll give it a shot.
I appreciate
the other guy
honesty.
was pretty damn good.
He was. You got this, Steve. You got this. Let's do it.
All right, Steve, your first one. Heart healthy and rich in protein, known for the bright colors and candy coating. People love the treat of Jordan blank. Is it A, raisins, B, almonds, or C, meatballs?
Raisins.
I am sorry, it's Jordan almonds.
Jordan almonds.
Jordan almonds.
Damn. All right, Steve, we got to play out the side, though.
You can do it, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the movie Wall Street, evil corporate raider Gordon Gekko utters the iconic line, blank, for lack of a better word, is good. What is it that's good? Is it A, cheese, B, fentanyl, or C, greed?
Oh, boy. Let's go with the greed.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yes, it is. Greed is good.
Now you're talking.
Number 3, Billy Bob Thornton won a Golden Globe for his role as menacing drifter Lorne Malvo on season 1 of the FX anthology series blank. Is it A, Fargo, B, The Shield, or C, Everybody Loves Raymond?
Let's go with the Shield.
Doop! Doop! That was Fargo, you know.
Oh, he was in there.
Oh, shoot, I didn't know that.
Nah.
What?
Rewatch season 1. So
I haven't
freaking
watched
good.
any of them, man.
Yes.
No,
I watched
God.
the movie. I saw the movie already.
Oh, you're insane. It's wonderful.
I
it's real
said
good.
I just watched the movie. Why would I watch a TV show
No,
about
the
it?
TV show is fantastic.
Okay, I've been to Fargo. Have you been to Fargo?
I've been to Fargo to the hospital.
I got a lot going on.
Season 2. Season
And what
2
kind of
still.
procedure did you have to have?
Colonoscopy, if you must know.
Oh, and second thought, don't even bother.
No, I'll airdrop some photos later.
I haven't had breakfast yet.
All right, your last one, sir. actor best known for his TV role as Arthur Big Guy Carlson on WKRP in Cincinnati. Also as the Maytag repairman in commercials. His last name is a verb. He is Gordon Blank. A, poke, B, scrape, or C, jump?
Oh, let's go with C.
Gordon Jump. Yes,
there you
the
go.
late Gordon Jump.
Steve, you went 2 for 4, which is a fine effort, but not quite enough to win the tickets today. Thank you for playing, sir. Shark with a 4 for 4. Hitting for the cycle, batting 1,000, whatever you want to call it. You are today's winner, sir. Congratulations.
All righty then.
Shark, I would say have a great time at the gig, but something tells me I don't have to say that. I think you're going to enjoy it. Congratulations.
Awesome, thanks.
You got it. That was a fine effort from Shark.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm still reeling over the fact that Michael Jordan's got a fear of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a fraidy cat.
I don't know how I didn't know that. Growing up in Wilmington, North Carolina, that's right on a little something they call the Atlantic Ocean. That's an unfortunate fear.
You know who I don't believe he would have played well against? The Harlem Globetrotters.
That bucket of water.
I'm serious. He would have been looking over his shoulder the entire game.
That totally would have freaked him out. Hey, it's KQ Up North with Hoffman Weber Construction, October 3rd through the 6th at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. Join us for a broadcast of the KQ Morning Show, a karaoke party, dinner cruise, live music, and more with the KQ crew. Book your stay right now. Go to 92kqrs.com. Sponsored by Hoffman Weber Construction and, of course, Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. We will have a good time, and we hope to see you there with us. You know, every now and again you wake up and then you start your day and you feel like you're going in one direction and then boom, there's a detour you didn't see coming. Now that can either happen literally, like say on 494 when you're trying to drop your wife off at the airport and you end up almost missing the flight, or it can be because you end up talking about weird places you found a poop you weren't expecting. Check B on your call sheet to know where the show's going right now. 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talking text line. Where'd you find a poop? Hit us up. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talking text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, August the 20th. Good morning. Boy, that was the song of the summer of 1983 in my world anyway. Every Breath You Take by the Police.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that was right after I graduated high school, driving around, listening to that whole album, Synchronicity, on a regular basis. Cassette tape version, of course, one I stole from a classmate.
Yes.
Sorry about that, Kurt.
As you did. We just sort of borrowed. When we were kids, it was Hot Wheel cars. When you got a little older, it was cassettes. And then girlfriends.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
As long as you're getting over on your friends. You know what I mean? Long as you're the last man standing.
Yes, sir.
Been a good day so far.
Has it?
Well, it's been kind of a crappy day, I guess.
That's it. Ryder's not moving past finding the poop. And I'm finding out that other people in our building, we have a vast building here, over 35 companies in this one building. It's huge. It's like the size of U.S. Bank Stadium over here. Are blaming it on Chauncey. They're going long on. They're like, well, obviously it's a dog poop. It was Chauncey. We found Ryder started the day by finding a big old dog turd right in the middle of what would be our living room out here.
Yes, and I was a little bit nervous that maybe it wasn't a dog turd, so I had to have Zep verify.
Yeah.
And then I made him clean it up because I was just throwing such a hissy about it. I really should have sucked it up and done it myself since I found it.
I think it's amazing Zep had that little lab kit with him. You know, it looks like, you know when they test the chlorine at the pool? It looked like that. Like you had the little blue water, the red water, the clear sample.
Had to handle it, taste it.
Turned out to be canine poo, as it turns out, which is a good thing. And by the way, I mean, you know, I've stayed calm. I've kept the hair on the back of my neck from standing up. But the fact that anyone might think that Chauncey Gorman would drop a deuce is just beside. Well, he would, make no mistake. But the fact that I would allow it, or that anybody would somehow not realize that it happened. I'm saying the fact that this man leaves an odor behind like nothing you can imagine. There's no way it was him. We would have, because he hasn't been here since yesterday morning. Yeah. There's no way it sat there for 20 hours.
And it would be
without being noticed. It's not even possible.
Well, you sissy city people, let me tell you this. It's much ado about nothing anyway, because after we opened up the phone line, 651-989-ROCK last hour, we're finding that a lot of our listeners aren't finding dog poop on the job site. Yeah. They're finding human poop. Big difference.
Yeah.
Between I went out and I was just happy as hell. I'm like, Ryder, I've got this. Let me grab I don't know what I grabbed, an old KQ T-shirt, and we cleaned that.
You didn't
right
raw
up.
Dog it barehanded?
I did not raw. I have done that before, though.
Raw dog it.
I have done that before, walking my daughter's dog in a hotel. I was trying to get it out of the hotel one time, and it pooped right in front of someone's door. And I went, well, by the time I get to where I'm going and back, someone's going to step out. And so I raw dogged that poop, but it had been human poop, one of my turds, or anyone else's turds, your turd, Steve. I'm not picking it up with my bare hands, but apparently out there in listener land, a lot of people are crapping on the job.
Such a pretty word, turd.
Turd. It is a turd. Turd Ferguson.
651-989-ROCK if you want to share, if you want to talk or text us the story. And boy, we've got plenty. This is a text that came in. As a teenager, we had a little poodle that would poop in the house a lot near the door. Our carpet was deep and brown, so on occasion you wouldn't see it. One night, I came home super late and was trying to be quiet, so I didn't wake up my dad. I didn't turn on any lights. I came in, walked to the kitchen, upstairs to the bathroom, then to my bedroom in the basement. The next day, I noticed an awful smell in my room, and after several minutes looking for where it was, I discovered I had stepped in the poo when I entered the home. It was on my shoes, but it was only on the sides of my shoes. I tracked the poop all over the house, leaving the bottom of my shoe near clean, except for the springs hanging to the side of my shoes. Thank you, Jessica in Coon Rapids. Yeah, you're just tracking up and down and all over. Yeah, the dog. I house sat for some folks, and they had two dogs that stayed in the basement. And they said, just come over every day, let the dogs out, and they will poo in the basement. Sometimes you might have to clean it up a little bit. And I just thought that was the strangest thing, that the dogs like to be outside, but the family's thing was like, well, if they got to go, they'll do it in the basement too.
Yeah. That's quite a favor. You must have really owed them. They have some photos of, because I would go over and let your dogs out and let them poop. I would even pick it up in the yard, but I'm not picking up poop in your house.
Couple things for this story. One, they let me use their car for the 2 weeks that I house sat.
Unless they were letting me use their car, yeah.
That's what sealed the deal. Fun fact, too, I've been in exactly one car accident that I caused, and it was driving their car. Oops, my bad. Sorry about that, guys. And then the other fun fact of that summer of '84 house sitting gig, the morning they were returning from their 2-week beach vacation, I opened the door to the basement and went, let's go. And one dog ran up the stairs.
Oh, no. And you killed one of their dogs?
One of their dogs was dead.
On your watch.
On my watch.
Dang it. Natural causes, I'm sure.
It was. It was an older dog, and they were pretty nonplussed. They were like, well, he's had some issues. We didn't want to scare you by telling you, but we're not surprised. I was like, after 8 hours of me waiting for them to come home and accuse me of killing their dog.
No doggy CPR.
Oh, it was traumatic. I wasn't going to touch that thing. It was gross. Yeah, it was pretty rough. 651-989-ROCK. Oh, quick diversion from a text. Just because this is funny. I mentioned I went to see a couple of bands at Baldman Brewery over the weekend, and someone just texted in, we were at the Suburbs concert, took a great photo, and look at the photo bomber, and there's me behind them in the distance. That is me. Yes, that is correct. You have correctly identified me as the person photobombing you, so thank you for sending that
Gorman
along.
Photo. You got to win something for that, for a good Gorman photo bomb out there.
651-989-ROCK. Talking text line. Tony, who's on the horn?
Our friend Oli from Blaine.
Oli, good morning.
Good morning, crew. How you guys doing?
We're great, brother. What do you got for us?
Good. So in 1981, I'm working at the Holiday Inn in Anoka as a dishwasher, and the manager comes in and says, you got to go down to the pool area because somebody heaved a Havana right into the urinal.
Havana? What?
Heaved a Havana.
Oh,
wow, I like that.
So I go there. I got the gag reflex. I can't do it. So then the chef, who's 19, he says, I'll go do it. He grabs a pair of tongs from the kitchen and goes and cleans it up. And then he brings the tongs back to me to make me wash them. I'm like, I'm not going to reuse these.
No, the tongs got to go.
Yeah, we don't wash those.
You can't boil water hot enough.
Nope.
There you have it.
Yeah, that's a
hit
pretty
the
good
salad bar.
Yeah, That does remind me. It was one of those journals that was on the. Thank you, Oli. We appreciate the call. One of those journals that's down there on the floor. One of those long urinals. I don't know if you know what I'm even talking about, Ryder. But some of them are just right down there on the floor, so you can splash all over your feet. Especially fun. They always seem to be in pool locker rooms too. So
I've seen those.
when you're in there with your flip flops, spraying everyone's feet with your pee. And there was a big turd in there when I was a kid. I went in there.
Nice.
Yeah, and I went out and told my mom, and she said, "Well, just pee in another one." I was like, "No, it's too late. I already peed all over it."
That story started with back in 1981, and that you could tell Oli it might as well just be yesterday. He's
still traumatized.
What did he say? Heaved to Havana.
Heaved to Havana.
Yeah.
When I stayed at my cousin's overnight or for the weekend, there was always a prank or a surprise to be left, and my one little cousin would like to put Floyd the English Bulldog's droppings into your bed. Thanks, Ross Bernstein.
My God. Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right there.
I got a brick in the pillowcase one time, but Floyd's Havana was a little more disturbing.
In the bed, of all things.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
Kind of like Princess and the Pea.
Nobody will do you dirtier than family.
Oh, not a chance. I can't even draw the line without probably making some people sick. But I saw something earlier also just reminded me about things that people have accidentally put in their mouths along the way. And I imagine someone's probably, it's like a piece of soap or, you think one thing, there's the old trope, but this has happened. And it's happened to me where you grab a drink and there's a cigarette butt in it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Someone, and it's, and that's like high school or college days. You have a can of beer and someone does it intentionally, like just puts their cigarette in your beer when you're not looking, and then you go do it. It's just like,
I don't know how many times I've, the old ashy beer. Well, if you want a nice segue from, are we staying on the poop topic? I see the lines.
We're loaded. We're loaded for bear.
And I'll tell you about the time I ended up with some poop in my mouth.
That's not true.
That is true. Actually, while we're on it real quick, I take the kids down to Disney World. It cost me $1 million, the most money I've ever spent in my life. But it's the dream vacation. You feel as a parent you have to do that. There we spend 6 days at Disney World, and the only thing they remember is that some dumb bird pooped in my mouth at Epcot eating lunch outside. It actually kind of hit me in the forehead and splashed down my lips a little bit.
Tasty.
Yeah, that's all. You bring it up to this day. No, it's not. Oh, this magical moment when the fireworks went off at midnight in Dad's arms. No, they don't remember that. They just only remember that a bird pooped in my mouth.
I'd like to sit through the photo album here like, this is us on Space Mountain. That was the day after the bird pooped in Dad's mouth. This is me and Minnie Mouse. This was about an hour after the bird pooped in Dad's mouth. Everything.
I spent a lot of money for that.
That is not a cheap trip.
Oh, no.
No, it is absolutely not. 651-989-ROCK. Tony, who's on the horn?
First up is Doug from Lino Lakes.
Doug, good morning, sir.
Good morning. This is Doug.
What do you got for us, Doug?
Okie doke. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm here. You're here. We're all here, brother.
All right, brother. I worked, as a kid, I worked at Dick Flick Art Supply in Western Illinois. We had a plant, maybe 15 guys working there. And one main restroom for the guys. And somebody, they never figured out who was doing it, would hold a poop for days. And they would go into the restroom stall, and they would use the facilities, and this poop would crown above the rim. Okay, so it's not over. This person would lock the stall door, crawl underneath for other people to come into the restroom, can't get in, can smell the thing. They never figured out who was doing it, but they just christened the name. They were struck by the Phantom Logger.
My God.
I love a good prank, but I mean, this is really, dying for your art here. So not only do you have to go through probably some severe constipation and cramping, but you're crawling out on a bathroom floor. Yeah, exactly. Just so that you can be the Phantom Logger. I mean, I'm going to give him a high five, but not just metaphorically.
Oh, absolutely.
Phantom logger. I like it.
Right on. Thank you for that, Doug. We appreciate it. 651-989-ROCK. We have Steve also on hold. Steve, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Great, brother. What do you got?
Well, about 20 years ago, we're way up north on the North Shore in Finland, Minnesota. We play in this softball tournament. So it's a beer drinking tournament. And we're up there Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then we had Monday off. So Monday morning, after eating hot dogs, sauerkraut, brats, pizza, I go in, I got to use the bathroom. So I get done with the bathroom, I come out, and my friend's sleeping in the hotel room, the bed. And he wakes up, and he goes like, dude, did you just shit your pants? And I said, no, and I kind of walked away. Not. And he's over there, he's got this CPAP machine on, and he's ripping it off his face. And he gets up and he walks outside the window. And he's walking back and forth outside in the cool air. He's like, whoo, whoo. Well, I walked back over there. Where he had the base of the CPAP machine, on the back end is the fresh air intake. He had it right at the bottom of the bathroom door. That's where it plugged in. What? So the odor just went right in the back of the CPAP machine and right up the hose and into
a direct line.
Yeah, that's the only freaking outlet, the only place you can put your CPAP machine.
Well, there was a few outlets, but it's just where he chose to plug it in.
It was fate.
I saw a movie about that. It was called When Hell Was in Session.
Oh my God.
I apologize to him and he's like, yeah, right, whatever.
Oh,
it's not quite the human centipede, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right
Have a good
on.
day.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that call. Oh. Man, that's some theater of the mind right there. We were all seeing that whole situation.
The old intake, a little too close to the outtake.
Oh, that is fantastic. I spent 1 week at a summer camp in 1976, and we were in log cabins out in the woods, and the bathroom was just disgusting. Like it was a separate building. And I got there on Monday, and I walked in there the first day, and first thing I thought was, well, I'm not using that toilet till I'm waiting until I go home Friday. Like I could pee in the woods, but I could not get near that. The outhouse, it was the stank. And sure enough, it was like Wednesday night. I wake up at 2 a.m. and it's like my body's like, no, this is happening. And then we had been told like you don't. Once the cabin's shut down at night, you don't leave. You'll get kicked out of the camp if you sneak out. But I had to go, and I had to go in there in the middle of the night and sneak out nice and quiet, take care of business, and got back in bed. I don't think I went back to sleep even. I was just so traumatized by the entire situation. It was just a nightmare.
The nasty old outhouse.
And I just felt like, I got home a couple of days later. I still could smell it. It was like in my nose for 4 days.
Right.
Oh,
it's in your pores.
Yeah, what are you going to do? 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. Who we got? We have Jimmy here, I believe.
Let's go with Jimmy on line one.
Jimmy, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What do you got for us?
I grew up down in New Orleans, and this was back in the 60s. Things may have been different construction-wise down there. But my family lived on one street, and my grandparents lived a block over, and we used to always cut through a yard.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going home, my brother and sister, and there was this big round hole in the ground, and there was a lid that was halfway open. So being an inquisitive kid, I walked out on this lid to see what the hole was. And the lid tipped up and dumped me in up to my neck in a full septic tank. Full of poo. Literally up to my neck.
Oh, no.
Of course, my brother and sister just looked at me and turned around and ran home.
Yeah, they did.
I somehow managed to get out. And so word already reached home, and I'm walking like a zombie, full of poo from my neck down, and the neighbors are gathering, and my mom stops me, just yells, "Stop!" And in the front yard with neighbors gathered all around,
she had me stripped down naked and hosed me off.
For your own good. Yeah. Did you find out that day how long you can hold your breath?
I went literally up to my chin.
Man, that is rough. Thank you for sharing that traumatic event.
Your voice is still a little shaky when you relay it.
I'm just fascinated by neighbors gathering around. Did you hear the Johnson boys up to his chin in septic? Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, man, that's better than a house on fire. Thank you for the call.
I'm always full of
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's rough, too, because, see, if you fall in there, and if you're, it's like if you're, I'm just picturing this poor kid up to his neck, up to his chin, but that means his arms are under, too, so you're not going to reach in and pull him out, unless you're going to do it by his hair.
So how was your summer? What'd you guys do over the summer, first day of class? You could tell, just relating that story to us, he was going through a little psychological trauma. That'll stick with you right to the grave.
Oh, it was great. I had dysentery all summer. Really? That's weird. You're a kid. How'd that happen? Oh, it's way easier than you think. Have we got another call?
Oh, boy, the banks are filled. Dan, Teresa, and Jeremy are all waiting with their poopy tails.
Let's go with Dan. Dan, are you with us?
Yeah, it's Darren.
Darren, good morning, sir. What do you got?
I was moving back here from North Carolina, and I had a couple dogs. They were a handful, but I was in the U-Haul with them, and I stopped in Missouri to stay the night. And I brought the dogs into the hotel room, and I told them, okay, I'm going to leave the room here for about 2 minutes and go get my bags and stuff, and I'll be right back. So don't do anything to the room. Don't destroy it. I left. I come back, and here, the only bed in the room, they took a crap right in the middle of the bed.
Sure, yeah.
So I wound up having to clean it up, and I got it cleaned up. But, yeah, it was kind of a big deal.
yeah, that would be a big deal. And and you told them don't make a mess of the place, and they just didn't listen, did they?
Weird.
Stinkers.
Yeah.
Bastards. Thanks for the call, Darren. We appreciate it. 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talk and Text line. I guess we have Teresa up next, if memory serves. Teresa.
Yeah.
Good morning. What do you got for us?
Well, I was a server for a long time, about 20 years ago, and I was working at a Champ. You remember that Champs chain?
Oh, yeah.
I remember Champs.
Well, we had, I was working the day shift, and I was one of the last servers left on the floor, and we had one manager who was having to leave to go to some event, so she had changed her clothes. She was all dressed nicely. And a woman of rather large skirt walked with her walker after having lunch into the bathroom, and I got stuck cleaning up her mess, which entailed 5 feet up on the wall.
No!
All the way down the wall, all over the toilet, all over the floor. I looked at it. I went, okay. Went and got the napkins, put them around my head, put them around my face, put on the rubber gloves, put on a chef's coat. Took me 45 minutes to clean that literal crap up.
And
it was the gnarliest thing I'd done. And I have 10 brothers and 6 sisters. So I've seen a lot of poop.
Yeah,
that was bad.
There's your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Someone's clearly swinging from a chandelier.
Explosion everywhere.
How do you get it 5 feet up on the wall? We've all walked in and just saw a massacre in the bathroom.
She was a big woman. And I'm trying to think if she was standing there with
like a 50-foot big
with
woman,
a walker, and she was just kind of leaning over and just got it right out and down, all over everything. It was nasty.
Back blast area.
Wow, winner chicken dinner, as they say. Teresa, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. All right, we got to bounce. Man, these are just going to go on forever, apparently. But we also have to get to the top 5 at 9. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, August the 20th. That was Led Zeppelin on Robert Plant's birthday, the song Rock and Roll. Here's a fun fact about Led Zeppelin. July 9th, 1973, they played a concert where they opened the show with Rock and Roll, and that was at the Civic Center in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, 1973. A pretty iconic tour. That's where they shot the film that later became Song Remains the Same. They shot it in 73, didn't put it out for a few years. It seemed really dated by the time it finally hit, but that was a band firing on all cylinders. And St. Paul at the Civic Center in July of 73, I would imagine they got rocked and rolled pretty hard. That was a hell of a band at the peak of their powers.
I mean, in that St. Paul Civic Center, I was still going to shows. Let's see, Bruce Springsteen opened the Born in the USA tour there. I saw U2 open the Joshua Tree tour there with 2 nights. So those were mid-'80s.
Yeah.
And actually, the Joshua Tree tour would have been maybe 87, 88. I forget. I'm bad with that. So I forgot when they demolished that whole thing and built the new structure over there. But can you imagine the shows that came through the Civic Center in the 70s and 80s?
Be awesome. But yeah, that's I'd love to see me some Zeppelin in 1973.
Hell
and
yeah.
hey, speaking of St. Paul, hey, let's just take a moment and say good morning to all of our listeners in St. Paul. Now, hang on. Where St. Paul is where? That's right
It's
there.
out by Litchfield.
Oh, out by
isn't it?
Litchfield. Is
I
that what it
think,
is? Yeah.
Yeah, Lauderdale.
west-
Yep, right there.
Okay. Oh, it's that big city right here in our backyard.
Good old St. Paul for a good time.
Hell yeah. Good morning to everybody listening who's like, no, it's not Minneapolis. It's St. Paul, man.
Yeah. St.
Yeah.
Paul, man, sitting right over there.
I'm a St. Paul boy.
That's it. Highland Park, right, Tony?
Yes, sir.
Damn straight. Good morning to
Smile
you.
when you say that.
Hey, it's time. It's time to. If you're just joining us, you got to get your day off on the right foot. How about the top 5 at 9? Let's do it. As I just mentioned, happy birthday, Robert Plant. Percy is 76 years old today. A pretty singular figure in rock history. I mean, a lot of big blonde-haired frontmen screaming and yelping in his wake. But before he hit the scene, there'd never been anything like him.
No.
I mean, go to 1967, look around the world of rock, and who makes you think of Robert Plant? And the answer is nobody. Get to 1968, Jimmy Page puts him in the studio. 1969, suddenly they're taking over the world, and it's like that guy blazed his own trail. As far as the way he sang, the way he looked, the influences he drew from, a completely unique character in rock history. Happy 76th birthday, Big Bob Plant. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. The DNC opened in Chicago last night. Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, with a pretty inspirational speech. Governor Walz tomorrow. The national spotlight on a whole lot of folks from Minnesota these days. And we didn't even mention the fact that our governor is now a vice presidential candidate, because when that whole thing went down, we were off for the week. So it's a little after the fact, but you'll be getting a lot of Minnesota in the national media over the next few months, faux show, as the coach tries to see if he can make it into the second spot in the country.
I'll tell you what, Minnesota politicians on the national level, man, haven't they scored big over the years?
You think so?
No.
Mondale? No.
Mondale?
Yeah.
Who was that guy to be? Pleased as Peach. Who was that guy? Back in the 70s. Yeah, it was before your time.
It was before my time.
Was Hubert Humphrey from Minnesota?
Yeah, that's it. Hubert Humphrey.
There you go.
It's pleased as a peach.
Yeah. Fritz Mondale. The first time I voted was 1984. It was my first time I was able to vote. Geraldine Ferraro, running mate. I was right there.
Right?
I was on the Mondale train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were a great 4 years.
The number 3 in your top 5 at 9. Check this new poll. People were asked, do you wash your feet in the shower? And about 40% of Americans polled said no. They just let the water run over their feet.
Mm-hmm. That's washing your feet.
Most say, I just don't feel limber first thing in the morning. I make it a point to wash my feet in the shower.
Yeah.
I do every time.
Yeah, I always have the servant do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Gross. I got a lot of toe jam.
The Zepp foot gig. I mean, is it benefits or is it just a steady paycheck? What's that? What are you offering these folks?
Concert tickets. Somebody got to see Metallica this weekend. No, but I tell you what, it's not getting any easier to reach them. I'm starting to look around for those plastic seats.
Yeah, I hear you. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. This is sad news for Ryder. Lake Nokomis beaches are closed due to a sewer leak. Bacteria levels are way higher than they need to be. A sewer leak and overflow near Lake Nokomis yesterday morning. The 2 beaches affected are Main Beach and Little Beach, or 50th Street Beach, whichever you prefer to call it. The sewer leak has been fixed, but the cleanup will take a little while.
So remember a whole month ago, Ryder, when I said poopy Nokomis and you jumped down my throat?
My super crystal clear, beautiful Lake Nokomis with not too many people and all chill and everything. I was so bummed. That's right.
Couple of tips, if you're going to jump into a lake, whether it's posted not to go in or not, just remember this. Don't swim if you have diarrhea or are sick. Don't get lake water in your mouth.
No.
Avoid swimming for 48 hours anytime there's been a heavy rainfall.
That's what they say.
They say. Towel dry immediately after exiting the water to prevent swimmer's itch.
Well, I was just out partying with the guys this weekend.
Here's a good one. Don't swim in water that looks like pea soup.
Okay.
Trust me, that wasn't going to happen. That much I had it all already figured out.
Yeah, that's that blue-green algae they talk about. Kill a dog.
And then finally, number 1 on your top 5 at 9. The stadium weekend has come and gone. Last night was the 4th night in a row for the Big Rock Show in the Twin Cities. Target Field had Def Leppard, Journey, and the Steve Miller Band all on stage last night. And we've gotten a lot of text messages, people weighing in on the performance. We've had everything from they were amazing to the singer of Journey was drunk, I believe somebody suggested. Or they said he may be under the influence. But if you saw, I want to hear from somebody who saw all 4. Did anybody take in both Metallica's Green Day and Def Leppard Journey? If you did, hit us up, 651-989-ROCK. Either give us a call or text us. I'd like to hear if anybody made it to 4 in a row.
I think they're probably still in bed.
Yeah, I'm envious if you did. That would be a very different time in life for me to even consider doing that.
Grand slam.
This is the text that just came in. We just mentioned that Led Zeppelin played the St. Paul Civic Center in 73. Someone texted, the Civic Center was the best sounding arena at the time. The Met was a better pre-show party spot, but had too much tin and metal. Ask anyone who attended. I'm sure they'd agree. That's from Boris. All right, Boris, thank you for that. I'll take your word for it.
So that's about right. Saw a bunch of shows over at the Met as well. And you're right, because you had all that parking over there. You could do a little, tailgating. It wasn't official tailgating. They didn't invite that, but you just did it. But yeah, as I recall, the Civic Center sounded pretty good. But, to me, farm kid coming into the city to see a show either way, it all sounded good.
I probably had been to at least 10 concerts before it occurred to me to complain about the sound.
Right.
Yeah, I was just so damn glad to be somewhere where people were enjoying loud music. That's how that goes. Speaking of enjoying loud music, Lenny Kravitz will be in Las Vegas. The Blue Electric Light Las Vegas Takeover. Dolby Live at Park MGM this October. You could be on your way to see Leonard Kravitz. Score a trip for 2, including round-trip air, a 2-night stay at Park MGM, and 2 premium tickets to see the gig. Again, this is a trip to Las Vegas. If you text the national keyword Kravitz, Kravitz, to 95819 now, you can enter for your chance to win. Lenny Kravitz, he'll play, I would imagine it's a pretty safe bet. You'll hear all the hits, American Woman.
Yeah.
Do you want to go my way?
Fly Away.
Are you going to go my way? Fly Away.
Fly Away.
Yeah. Let Love Rule.
Let Love Rule. I saw there was a Lenny Kravitz played in Nashville during Fan Fest, CMA Fest. That's Country Music Association. Every year in June, there's like a week of shows. They used to call it Fan Fest, and then they changed it CMA Fest. But it's every country star, everybody. No one misses it.
And Lenny.
They're all there. And then every now and again, you'll see the oddball, artist come in, not quite country. And there was a show at where the Titans play, the Nissan Stadium. And it was like Tim McGraw and all those giant stars. And in the middle of this lineup was a Lenny Kravitz show. This is 5 or 6 years ago. And I don't know if he was thinking of maybe doing a country-ish album, but he just showed up with the band. And they're putting on a good show. They rock. But they did the song Let Love Rule. And they broke it down. And Lenny said, come on, sing along. It was kind of famous at the time. There's 60,000 people that have never heard Let Love Rule. They had no one. You would have thought he was like a Greek artist. Yeah. And or someone from Uzbekistan, the way they were treated. They were looking like, and it's all these country fans. He's going, come on, sing it. And he's putting his hand to his ear. And it's like, dude, you have to tell them the words. They don't. Let Love Rule came out in 1989. This is like 5 years ago at a country festival. Like no one knows this song. And I mean, it's like
they just started singing "Friends in Low Places."
Pretty much, that's what it was. And to his credit, he just kept going. He didn't let it dissuade him at all. But he puts on a good show. I'm not trying to take it away from the guy. I'm just saying that the country kids weren't keeping up with what was hot in 1989.
No.
These things happen.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Good morning for Tuesday, August the 20th. Motley Crue. Same old situation on Steve Gorman Rocks. The situation the last 4 nights in Minneapolis was lots of big rock shows. 2 Metallicas, a Green Day, and then for extra measure last night, how about a Def Leppard and Journey? With Steve Miller. We did ask if anybody had been to all 4, and we got a text. Elijah from Bemidji.
Yeah?
I went to all 4 shows. Each was great. Metallica was the biggest spectacle, but Def Leppard had the best show. Elijah going 4 for 4 out of Bemidji. Very strong.
All right. I like that. Yeah, Def Leppard still bringing it.
Still bringing it for faux show. Another quick follow-up to an earlier story. I just wanted to share what, for some listeners, will be an out-of-context text. Okay. But that's okay, because it's worth sharing. This is from Gary. You get swimmer's itch in the warm water close to shore from all the duck and goose poop. Okay, so there you have it. There you go.
See, stupid me. I thought it was like a little mite, like lice or something like that.
Like
but I have
sea lice I've heard of. Never heard of the lake lice.
I guess I didn't really ever know. I mean, I remember running into my first sign, and it wasn't one of those signs, cardboard signs, but temporary DNR signs or anything like that. It was a permanent sign. I forget, somewhere on the metro here, beware of swimmer's itch. I took a picture and posted it on Instagram right after that delicious, meal I had the day before. Swimmer's itch. So is that what causes it? I don't know. Now I want to Google it.
Now we know. I'm just going to take our the text's word for it. Sure. I'm not going to question it. A lot of things can go wrong in the water, from swimmer's itch to goose and duck poop. How about this, however? First time I remember hearing a story. We do see stories occasionally, especially off the coast of Spain and Portugal. You know those wacky orcas love to overturn boats on occasion? This is one from Australia. Check this out. A 40-year-old fisherman out in his tinny, his little tin dinghy, if you will, as they call them down there, a tinny. He was off the coast of the North-South Wales, Queensland border. That's like, looking at the map, I believe that's like this, north-south. Who cares? He's in Australia. Doesn't matter where he is. Off the coast, in his boat. Paramedics get called to go help a man who's in his tinny. It looks like he needs some assistance. They get out there and they go, oh, well, something extremely rare and flat out extraordinary happened, and it was this. His tinny was not attacked by a whale. He was. A whale apparently smacked this man with its tail as he sat upright in his boat.
Was he being inappropriate?
I don't know, but passing jet ski riders apparently witnessed this and phoned into the authorities. Dude is in his little dinghy, and he got significant back and neck injuries from the tail of a whale coming out of the water and striking him.
That's the ultimate bitch slap. Here are some people that witnessed it and some news dude.
It'd be like getting hit by Mike Tyson, mate. It'd be like, it's just pounded him, like absolutely pounded him. Like, it would have been incredible force. His face was had some slime on it, and you could see a big welt mark. His eye was a bit puffed. The tail that's just cracked him in the jaw.
The 40-year-old was taken to hospital for injuries to the left side of his face and spine, now with one unbelievable story to share.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Slimed.
Man,
slimed.
So let's just add this to the list. You've got 4 of the world's deadliest 8 snakes in Australia. You've got redback spiders. You got 7-foot red kangaroos that'll slice you open. You got basically everything down there is dangerous. And now just add to it that a frickin' whale will come up and smack you with his tail if you look at him sideways.
Although, you'll find a whale's tail down there at Doherty's in Prior Lake. Look out.
That's a good chance of that.
Couldn't get yourself. By the way, the swimmer's itch is an allergic reaction to parasites that burrow into your skin from warm water, and those are produced from geese, ducks, and muskrat poop.
Yeah, the muskrat's getting involved in this.
Weird little muskrat love, yeah.
This is a weird thing I haven't thought about in forever. There was a muskrat pelt for some reason in the Gorman household when I was a kid. And it's just, I guess one of my brothers or sisters got it at school. I don't know. It's just about the size of a piece of paper in a notebook, but it was just a big pelt. It was the softest little thing ever. And there was a brief period of time when I was like, oh, and then someone said, that's actually a muskrat pelt. I was like, I didn't know what it was. Something about the idea of it being a muskrat pelt kind of turned me off. But for a couple days there, I had a little soft thing that I just liked the feel of it.
Well, my grandpa was a furrier, so we'd have a few of those around the house every now and then, a little pelt here and there.
Yeah, they used them for something. I mean, I trapped when we were a kid out there.
Like scarves around your neck.
Yeah, okay, was that it? The stole or what's that called?
Exactly, a stole.
Gotcha.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go real quick here. Here's a name drop. Don Rickles. I spent some time with the man once. On one occasion, and a woman walked by and she had a mink stole or a fox stole with the little you can see the little paws and the little face around her neck, and he literally was like, "Yo, lady, you gotta kill that thing before you wear it in public." She looked at him like she was so offended she didn't laugh at all. Wow. Grandpa was a furrier.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Impressive.
State Fur Company, Billings, Montana.
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah, my mom worked at a furrier for many years. She sewed the linings into the coats of the fur coats.
Fair enough. The things you learn when you keep your ears open around here. Speaking of learning, August 20th, 1938, Frank Pitlack and Henry Helf both played catcher for the Cleveland Indians, and the two men stood at the base of Cleveland's Terminal Tower. That building is 708 feet tall. A teammate stood atop that building and dropped 2 baseballs, and these 2 guys caught them 708 feet later. Mathematicians estimate the balls were coming in at 140 miles per hour when they smacked into those catcher's gloves.
I mean, I'd be a little nervous, to be honest with you.
Have the balls flying at your face like that?
Yeah, at 140 miles an hour?
That's a lot. That's very quick.
Why are you standing up?
For the LA Olympics 2028, let's get baseballs dropped from an absurd height competition. I would watch that. You think about when a foul ball and the catcher, the amount of movement in a ball in the air with wind, and you see the catcher, he's watching it, he rips his mask off, and then he goes left and right and left and right and left and back and forward, and then he makes the catch. I want to see a 700-foot drop into a catcher's mitt.
I wouldn't be anywhere near that thing, man.
No, well, I want to watch it on TV. Right. I don't want to be there. On this day in 1973, at the All-American Soapbox Derby in Akron, Ohio, a 14-year-old kid from Boulder, Colorado, won the national title and then was stripped of his championship. It was found out he had an illegal electromagnet stuck inside his race car so that the metal baffle plate at the starting line would pull his car forward, giving it a competitive advantage. That's the biggest scandal in the history of the All-American Soapbox Derby.
That kid now, to this day, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Guarantee it. No question about it.
I mean, those soapbox derbies, that's where you separated the kids that would go on to work in the skills trades from DJs. Because mine was, I remember it was like the morning of, Dad's like, got your soap bomb. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I just grabbed it was just a wooden block, rectangular block, and I put wheels on it. Didn't do very well.
Didn't do so hot. On this day in the year 2000, Tiger Woods just ended all doubt that he was the greatest golfer on earth. He won his third consecutive major, which was also his second consecutive PGA championship. At that time in life, Tiger Woods, at the age of 24, had the scoring record for the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British Open, and the PGA Championship. Masters, 18 under. PGA 18, British Open 19 under par.
That's right.
And the U.S. Open 15 under par. Tiger Woods, there may be another player as dominant as Tiger Woods, but you know what? I'm going to stop right there. There will never be another golfer as dominant as Tiger Woods was for the first 10 years of his career.
I think he saw to that by creating a generation of golfers, right? But there was talk, I remember at that time, that is golf over. Yeah. Like you said earlier, he solved golf, which I love that line.
That's what it felt like.
What a wonderful notion. But everybody thought, well, no one's ever going to get close to this guy. Is golf done now? It's a long way from done.
When he won his first Masters, the Masters responded by bulldozing the course and reroute. They literally like, we've got to change the course.
Right.
We've got to lengthen the course by a ton. I mean, it's insane what he did to that sport.
John Daly said, hold my beer.
Yeah, pretty much, literally. And then he said, well, hang on, give it back. Don't take a sip. We mentioned earlier in the show, and this is, I don't mean to, just keep poking this bruise rider, but Lake Nokomis has got some issues going on. Speaking of dirty water of Lake Nokomis. Tony, you've got some thoughts about that, don't you?
There's a concern or two in Lake Nokomis, but don't let that stop you from enjoying the majesty of the lake water.
Oh,
okay.
I thought we were going somewhere.
Yeah,
right.
I thought she was loaded up.
Well, I know this. Our own in-house Viking god, Woody's, all ready to go every weekday at noon. It's a free ride. Minnesota's commercial-free classic rock on 92 KQRS.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.